What does it depend on? Did the parents get a copy of the report ahead of time? Did they read the report? Is this the parents' first IEP meeting or their 15th IEP meeting? What has already been shared verbally before the meeting? Do I know anything about the participants of this meeting? For example, most parent attorneys I have seen at meetings enjoy a great verbal summary, but I have this one. Hello, Jenny Ponzurk here. This is part 2 in our 6-part series about the IEP process. Today, I want to chat about explaining evaluation results at an IEP meeting. I work with many IEP teams, including new hires and teams that are about to have a more interesting IEP meeting. One of the questions I often receive is about how in-depth the assessor needs to be when explaining evaluation results. Something I have learned from working with psychs, education specialists, SLPs, and other related service providers is that everyone has had different experiences and different information conveyed to them about explaining assessment results. Some professionals have had 3 years in grad school, multiple supervisors to observe to help determine their verbal explanation process at an IEP meeting. Others have had 1 semester of 1 class and little observation or feedback on their skills related to explaining evaluation results. Some were trained to always explain every subtest and corresponding scores, while others were trained to integrate and summarize their findings. So, how do I respond when asked, how in-depth should we be? I use my best school psych answer of, it depends. What does it depend on? Did the parents get a copy of the report ahead of time? Did they read the report? Is this the parents' first IEP meeting or their 15th IEP meeting? What has already been shared verbally before the meeting? Do I know anything about the participants of this meeting? For example, most parent attorneys I have seen at meetings enjoy a great verbal summary, but I have this one, and I know he will ask me a question about every subtest, so I'm ready for that. In general, I believe that one of the greatest gifts we can provide parents at the IEP meeting is a synthesis of all the information we have gathered as a team, using little jargon and connecting our key learnings to the classroom setting. However, not everyone has been trained that way, and not all assessors even know how to do this. Telling someone to summarize their results does not teach them how to do it. Even modeling it sometimes is not enough for some assessors. As a leader in your district, think about the hundreds of IEP meetings you have been a part of. What do you think of the way that evaluation results are explained? Do they synthesize the information across multiple sources of data, or do they just tell the listener about individual subtests and scores? Is the language being used family-friendly, or does the explanation leave others confused? Is a connection to the classroom being made, or is that left up to the listener to make? To help you remember some of the key takeaways from this, check out the additional resources shared. Feel free to share them with others who are in a position to provide feedback on the IEP process, and I will see you soon in part 3 of this series. That concludes another episode of the Prepared School Psych podcast, and I hope today's discussion equipped you not just with knowledge, but also the confidence to take action. Remember, every conversation we have and every resource we share builds a bridge towards a more inclusive and empowering learning landscape for our students. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast for more insightful conversations and resources to support your journey. Share this podcast with colleagues. We would love it if you would also rate and review the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Just a reminder, everyone, the information and advice provided in this podcast are for guidance purposes only, and all listeners are required to follow both federal and state law and their own school district guidelines and policies. Thank you.